Good day and welcome again to our Open Library. In today's video, we'll focus on two fundamental skills in R programming: assigning names to objects in R and an introduction to debugging. By the end of this video, you will assign names to objects in R with covalent and understand the different assignments operator. You will write meaningful anticipated names by following best practice. You identify common errors in R and apply basic strategy how to fix those errors. Why do we need objects? Think of R as a workshop. Lot of objects with different properties, like a lot of people with different expertise. Highly need tags to people affiliation and area of focus give a clear picture of who they are and how to interact with them. Naming object is like putting label on each of those things we create. It makes our code very easy to read, to understand, and to be able to reuse the code. Example of that is like we have a vector here. We just get a list of numbers, and we don't know why it means. You see this, you don't know. So in the second part, we extend the name to a score vector. So once you see this, you know this is a score. So the second one is much clearer because we assign a name to it. The assignment operator. So in R, we use the assignment operator or the syntax less than, hyphen, or less than minus to give names to objects. You can use the equal sign, the single equal sign, but the conventional way or the standard practice is by using a less than and minus. We have an example. We assign the object 10 to my number. My number represent 10 here because we said that 10 should be stored as my number. So this command takes the value of 10 and store it with the name my number. We have some basic rules we follow in assigning names to object. If you want to name an object, start with a letter. You don't start with numbers. You start with letter if you name an object. Or you start with a period. But if the next character is not a number, then you can start with a period. If the next character to follow is not a number, you can start with a period. Basically, we start with a letter in naming object. We cannot leave spaces between. If you name an object, assign name to an object, you don't leave spaces in between. Like my name is George Davis, and I want to name a particular object working with George Davis. So the both names, George and Davis, I have to combine it or separate by using the underscore, or I use period. But if I just type the George Davis normally, it will give error. So if you assign name to object, key things you do, either you join it or you join it by using the underscore or using period. So these are the three practices we use to assign names to object. And you have to know that external value are stored. You will not see the result immediately in the console. Once you assign name to it, you will not see the result in the console immediately if you run it. So to see the result, you have to run the object name. So like we assign 10 to my data. So to be able to see the output, you have to run my data to get the output while it's still within my data. You have to run my data to see the output. So it is always good to use clear descriptive names that if you send your code to anybody, they will understand your code, they will know what you did. So you can use maybe like you got a score vector that we discussed, then you decide to appreciate SV. So if you send it to somebody who don't know what the SV means, it find difficult to understand your code. So good to always use descriptive names. Like you see, you get school vector. Anybody look at this, they will know yes, this is the school. Introduction to debunking in error. Debunking is the process of finding and fixing errors in our code. This is a fundamental skills for any programmer. You have to know how to identify error, read the error messages, and implement them. We call that debunking. So we make common mistakes in error. Typo in object or function names. Probably like I said that you assign a name to an object, you name the object man data, you use uppercase, and you want to run that particular object you need, and while running a use lowercase, you get error. So that is some of the typographical error we come across. Sometimes the function names you make mistakes with them, and the object name will make mistakes with them. Those are typographical errors. You have to identify them and be able to correct it. For getting codes around that, like we said, like character codes in our previous videos, characters we usually put them in codes. So sometimes you forget the codes and you get error, or you mismatch the codes. For getting we talk about mismatching parentheses or brackets. So any bracket you open, you have to close it. So there are some brackets you open. If you don't close it, you'll get error. Any parentheses bracket you open, you have to close it. You have to be in close. Uh, we're using reserved voice to assign name to object. So if you're assigning name to object, there are some things you have to consider. You don't use reserved voice. When you say reserved voice, we're talking about voice are already programmed within the software. There are functions or object within the software. Like data, is this data you want to assign object, maybe data. Data is also a we function in our you use to explore inbuilt data set. And then, once you do that, maybe you make the other, you override that particular function in the software. Like let us see me combine, we want to create a vector like we did. Uh, we use a C to create a vector. So you can take a object assigning C to A, and that particular function will be obstructed as well. And we get a lot of functions like T, and it's a shortcut for true. So true is a logical function in R. So you can use functional names and assign name to object. These are some of the mistakes we made with the error. Missing data types will be with numeric vector. You also have character that will give you error and or will not give you a raffle output. These are some of the mistakes we made. At this point, I'll let to go in our script so we can practice some of the debunking skill. Okay, so come. I already have this in my script. I type it there, but it's on the website. You can copy it from there and use it, or you can pause the video and type it as well, then you go alone. Or it's on the website, you can copy it from there and use it. So this data from trying to create, and let's see if we have some errors, so we can debunk it. So we got the ID, the name, the age, the school, and if the person passed. So to do this, we first all have to run this to see and be able to read error messages and correct them. Let's first all run this. So the first error message is an unexpected symbol in student data. So we told you that we don't rather name an object, we don't leave space between it. So that's the mistake it's trying to recognize in our first line of code. So there, we said that to do this, you either join either this student data, okay, or you use period, okay, or you use underscore. These are the three ways you assign into object. So you can just leave it open and that. So the first mistake I'll recognize. Correct that. Run it again to see another mistake. So another mistake here is trying to tell us that the name or Josh, Victor, Chelsea, Laura. So it's trying to tell us that we have error here. So if we go back to that, you check the error, you see we have two different errors here. So every so got comma here, so be separated by comma, right? Within the vector. Every object will be separated by comma, and another error we get here is the quotes. Different type of code, we get double quotes and we get single quotes. You gotta be consistent with the codes. If you want to use a double quote, use double quote. You want to use single quote, use single quote. So here we use the double quote. So the same thing, we'll put double quote here. So everyone our code again to see. We run this again. Let's see the error. So they're trying to tell us that something left over, right? So once you see plus plus, yeah, it means that data or your code is not complete. Something left over, so we have to go back and look at it. So here we told you that everything you open is going to be closed. So this command, this parenthesis is not closing. So why is closing? This parenthesis close this parenthesis close this parenthesis close this parenthesis close this, and this close this. So why is closing the entire data frame? There's no parenthesis. So there were, it's error occur. So you can put the parenthesis and run it again. Let's see our next error. Run this, and so they said that unexpected symbol in okay, so let's look at school. So in the school there we get unexpected okay, yeah, we got a comma in the school. So once you put comma, you are expecting another object to proceed, right? So once you close it, which means to say, yeah, you finish with the vector, but once you put comma, another, I expect another object to proceed. So here we have to put our number because in our data frame we got 4. Yeah, so you can put 85 here, and I run this again to see on this error. So yeah, it's saying that yes, it's not fun. Yes, we said that we can put character in code, and here we rest of the characters are in code in line 5, and yes, it's not in code. So to do we have to put yes in code to debug this. So I run this. So yes, our data set creator is perfect. Now you can run the name. So remember that I can use because I start I limit uppercase, I can use lowercase here, right? We ever. So let's try this to see. Student data. Uh, You see, there's no other called student data, right? Because here I use uppercase and here I trying to use lowercase. So you can always once you're sending the object, you want to already store in the memory. So you just choose auto pop up and you use a student data, use this and run it. And here is our data set. We still got one more error here. Inline 4. So inline 4 will get mixed type of uh, property within our vector. So we got numeric vector and we have in the numeric vector we have character there. So we have to change that number. And can run the whole stuff again to see the output. Yeah, so our vector is perfect. We're able to identify all the errors. So George, Peter, Chelsea, this is our vector. We got yeah. So this is how we debunk, you identify the error with the error meshes, and you be able to, execute what the meshes says. So this is how we debunk. This is an overview of how we did. Like I said, we have the code on the website. You can get it and practice it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.